songs like Neon Moon and Boot Scoot. And,
Oh, yeah.
next album, Hard Working Man, and Used to Be Mine. Ronnie just had written all these great songs by himself, which, now I can't even tell you.
Heartbreak ripped through country music like a runaway train the night Brooks and Dunn faced the truth on stage in Indianapolis. Something was already haunting Ronnie Dunn long before the first guitar riff echoed under the bright lights. April 3, 2025 Gainbridge Fieldhouse was packed to the rafters with fans ready for honky-tonk bliss, yet a strange tension floated in the air. They came for boot stomps and neon memories, but soon felt a chill they could not name. During the encore, everything unraveled in a flash that no one will ever forget. The duo launched into Boot Scootin' Boogie, and the building shook with joy until Ronnie stepped back, held the mic away, and whispered to the crowd, "Sing it if you know it." Cheers roared, yet the singer's eyes looked glassy and far away. He signaled to Kix with a small, tired motion that said everything without words, "That's it for me," then tapped his chest twice like a silent apology. No fireworks, no curtain fall, just a heartbreaking wave and a slow walk in the darkness while the dance anthem rolled on. The internet exploded with shock clips spread across TikTok faster than wildfire, and fans asked one burning question: is this the final bow for their heroes? Some watchers had spotted earlier clues, and now they made sense like puzzle pieces snapping together. Midway through Rock My World, Little Country Girl, Ronnie actually sat on the risers looking drained and uneasy. His legendary voice cracked on high notes, and the crowd felt the stumble deep in their hearts. Posts poured in saying he seemed winded, and one fan wrote, "He was hurting. You could see it. He looked like he was having trouble breathing." Still, the show rolled forward because Kix Brooks simply would not let the night die. With pure grit, he kept the band locked tight and pushed every chord to the finish line. That is what decades of friendship and respect look like under pressure. Rumors ignited at once, spinning stories about illness, retirement, and broken dreams. People asked if Ronnie was sick, if the duo would cancel future dates, and if the curtain was about to drop forever. Their music scored road trips, barbecues, and teenage romances, so the worry felt painfully personal. USA Today finally shared a brief line from the team. Ronnie wasn't feeling well from being sick, but Saturday night's show went on as planned. The sentence tried to calm nerves, yet fans who saw the empty stage space knew something heavier lurked beneath the polite reply. Fatigue that deep rarely comes from a simple cold, and the world sensed it. A single silent exit can hit harder than 1,000 power chords, and this one rattled every soul in that arena. Many now wonder if we are watching the last stretch of a legendary journey built on grit, twang, and perfect harmony. Picture clapping along to My Maria, then seeing your hero bow mid-song, because a fight inside has become too heavy. That vulnerability felt like a lightning bolt, revealing the man behind the myth. Ronnie's slow head shake and gentle wave felt like an uncle admitting he cannot two-step tonight, though he loves the music more than life. The buzz around his health grows louder each day, drowning out talk of ticket sales and set lists. Fans no longer ask only about the next concert. They ask whether there should be another concert at all. No one wants to watch a giant push past the point of safety. We have seen that movie before, and the ending is always tragic. Maybe this is a signal for rest, a quiet bow, and the comfort of knowing the legacy stands tall already. Yet, whatever comes next, this fragile moment will shine in memory forever because it showed that even icons reach limits. Sometimes the bravest act is admitting, "I need to stop," while the music keeps rolling on, carried by friendship and a roaring crowd that understands. That unforgettable night ended with boot scoots and heavy hearts, yet also left the crowd glowing with loyalty and respect. And that mix of hurt and hope is exactly why country music keeps us coming back. Behind those bright spotlights, a perfect storm has been battering Ronnie Dunn for months, and the toll is huge. He is 71, so every knock hits harder, and bouncing back is no easy ride. In early March 2025, fate slammed him with a brutal double hit. COVID plus strep throat at once, a nightmare combo that ripped through his lungs. He was ordered to rest his golden voice for almost 2 weeks, and for a man who lives to sing, that felt like pure torture. Doctors loaded him with antibiotics and steroids to tame infection and swelling. Yet the virus gripped his chest like a vice that refused to loosen. By late March, he still fought for every breath, and he even told Country Music Weekly, "I'm still fighting some respiratory issues from COVID." His frustration was raw. You could hear the grit behind those words because his heart was ready to roar while his body kept slamming the brakes. As if that mess were not enough, rewind to December 2024 when a ski run in snowy Colorado wrecked his knee. He caught an icy edge, tore his ACL, and rolled straight into major replacement surgery, followed by 8 grueling weeks of rehab. Most singers would delay a tour after that, but Ronnie is a stubborn cowboy type who refuses to quit. He returned to the Reboot 2 tour, limping onto stage while still doing daily therapy sessions, and fans could see him leaning on risers to spare his new joint. That grit and dedication are inspiring, yet every setback left dents in the one thing that built his legend, his powerhouse voice. Coaches and critics all agree the tone is still rich, but his breath support has changed, and the top notes now require pure willpower. To survive the shows, he tweaks song keys, trims big holds, and trusts sound techs who boost the mix so he can save strength. Listen to recent clips of Neon Moon or My Maria, and you will hear it. A gentle strain that never used to be there, but proves he is pushing through fire. COVID, strep throat, knee surgery. 3 heavy blows in one season would sideline most performers half his age. Whispers grow louder every day, asking if Ronnie is dangerously ill and what this means for Brooks and Dunn moving forward. Industry chatter wonders if these hits are a sign he might slow down or even wave goodbye for good. The question feels fair because how long can any artist keep sprinting on a track that keeps breaking underfoot? Yet through every blow, Ronnie refuses to play the victim card. He keeps showing up without grand speeches, just quiet resolve and a promise to give fans everything he still has. That stubborn grace is almost beautiful. His body begs for rest, but his spirit keeps walking on stage with people who have cheered him for decades. When word of his tragic diagnosis surfaced, supporters were stunned. Could this be the real reason the duo is inching toward the exit lights? And what wild response are fans cooking up right now? If you think you already know, hold tight, because what hides backstage will shock you even more. Pictures from that night show him gripping the microphone stand like a lifeline while sweat poured down his face, yet his eyes still blaze with determination. Every move felt like borrowing time from a body screaming for mercy. One sharp-eyed fan even noticed a portable oxygen bottle tucked into a road case, ready in case breath failed during the hardest numbers. Those small safety nets tell a deeper story, a legend fighting to finish each verse while disaster lurks inches away. Kix Brooks quietly adjusted the set list on the fly, trimming big vocal climbs and sliding in guitar breaks so Ronnie could regroup. Backstage crew later said Ronnie kept apologizing between songs, muttering that he did not want to let anyone down even as physio tape peeked out from under his jeans. Imagine feeling that weight. The expectation of thousands mixed with searing knee pain and lungs that can barely draw full breath. It is the kind of pressure that can crush egos, yet Ronnie carried it with a humble nod and a quiet smile whenever fans screamed his name. Insiders claim he now travels with a specialized physical therapist and a vocal coach on retainer for the rest of the tour, an expensive but vital lifeline. Even with that support, Ronnie still faces unpredictable flare-ups, such as a moment in Indianapolis when the room spun and he knew he had to stop immediately. That decision stunned everyone, yet also saved him from pushing into permanent damage, which could end a career in an instant. Fans reacted with waves of compassion, posting thousands of supportive messages and flooding radio stations with requests for Brooks and Dunn classics to show solidarity. Ticket holders have started mailing get-well cards to the tour office, and one fan club launched a digital scrapbook where supporters can upload photos and memories. Critics who once wrote the pair off as past their prime now praise the raw vulnerability on display, calling it one of the realest moments in modern country history. Beneath the public concern, a harder choice waits. Will Ronnie choose health over highway miles and finally allow himself to rest? Some insiders whisper that management is mapping out a scaled-back schedule, fewer dates, smaller venues, and more rest days. No official word has dropped, and that silence feeds endless speculation. One thing is clear. Indianapolis cracked open a new chapter where human limits collided with superstar myths. In that collision, fans remembered that even icons bleed, ache, and sometimes must walk away mid-song. The courage to step back proves stronger than any perfect note, and that bravery may well become Ronnie Dunn's final and greatest legacy. Stay tuned, because the next move will change not only a tour schedule, but the heart of country music itself. what truly shook people wasn't just Ronnie's exit. It was a wave of love that came flooding in like a rising tide. Fans from every corner of the country filled the comment sections like they were checking on a lifelong friend. Brooks and Dunn's Instagram turned into more of a digital prayer circle than a promo page. Message after message filled with heart and healing. People weren't just dropping random emojis. They were writing from the soul, sending love and healing thoughts your way. And "we hope Ronnie gets well soon" showed up again and again. You could feel it. Every word had weight behind it. And then came the longer messages, the ones that made you pause mid-scroll and think, wow, people really care about this man. One person wrote, "Praying for you, Ronnie. Hope you get better soon." While another added, "Feel better, Ronnie," with 10 exclamation points and a whole row of emojis. This wasn't just about a missed concert. This was real human connection. People feel like they know Ronnie Dunn. His voice played through their happiest days and darkest nights. He's part of their memories, their milestones. So when something feels wrong, even for just a few minutes on stage, it hits hard. Then came the posts from people who were actually at the Indianapolis show, and those took the emotions to another level. Fans shared how magical the performance still was, even though they noticed Ronnie wasn't quite himself. One wrote, "You guys were awesome last night in Indy. My first time seeing you, and it was a dream come true. It looked like you were sick near the end, though, and I hope you get better soon." That's not just admiration. That's love wrapped in worry. And it wasn't just a few comments. There were dozens like it. Fans praised the duo's professionalism and heart, even while Ronnie clearly struggled. It was more than a performance. It was a moment that showed just how much people care about the artists behind the songs. And if Instagram was buzzing, TikTok was on fire. One clip posted by radio host Matt Malone captured the emotional moment Ronnie handed the spotlight to crowd. "Sing it if you know it," he said, then gestured his bandmate like, "I'm done. You take it from here." That short clip exploded, racking up over 86,000 likes and quickly becoming the place everyone gathered to talk about what happened. Imagine being there in that crowd, watching your favorite artist smile through the pain while quietly asking for help. It was gut-wrenching, but also incredibly human. What made it so emotional were the small things. Ronnie tapping his chest, the soft wave, the silent exit. He didn't want to make a scene. He wanted to walk off quietly with dignity. But that only made fans more concerned. Another video from the same show showed him sitting at the edge of the stage, visibly uncomfortable, his posture, his movements, his face. It was clear something was off. TikTok became a kind of support group overnight. People posted under hashtags like #PrayForRonnie, #BrooksandDunnForever, and #RonnieStrong, sharing love, memories, and even little updates. And thankfully, not all the talk was gloomy. Some fans brought hope. One posted, "He played Peoria the following night and absolutely dominated. He's fine." And just like that, one comment changed everything. Thousands of people clung to that small piece of good news. It's wild how fast one bit of reassurance can calm a storm. But still, whispers continued. Some people jumped to conclusions, asking, did Brooks and Dunn die? Or is this the end of Brooks and Dunn? Or even, is Ronnie saying goodbye forever? It got a little dramatic, sure, but behind it was a real fear for someone they love. Because Ronnie Dunn isn't just a name in lights. He's a part of people's lives. His voice is tied to weddings, road trips, heartbreaks, and Saturday nights under the stars. So when he falters, the world feels it. What we saw after his exit wasn't chaos. It was love, pure concern, true loyalty. People stopped everything just to write messages, say prayers, or share memories from years past. Because that's what Ronnie Dunn means to them. Maybe it was just a rough night. Maybe it was exhaustion or the last stage of an illness. But whatever it was, the outpouring of love made one thing crystal clear. Ronnie Dunn isn't standing alone. His fans are right there with him. And honestly, that's beautiful. People were panicking thinking this was the end of the road for one of country music's greatest duos. And let's be honest, it made sense. Brooks and Dunn have been a soundtrack to so many lives for decades. But before spiraling into full-blown worry, take a deep breath, because the truth is not nearly as dark as people feared. In fact, it's kind of uplifting. Yes, Ronnie wasn't at his best during that Indianapolis concert. His voice was struggling, his energy was down, and then, just like that, he stepped off the stage. Naturally, fans assumed the worst, because when someone as consistent and strong as Ronnie takes a sudden break, people worry, for good reason. But then came the update we all needed. Their publicist released a calm, clear statement that helped put the panic to rest. And thank goodness for that. Turns out, Ronnie's been resting. He's doing way better now. The issue? Respiratory related, not life-threatening. And wow, didn't that feel like a huge weight just lifted? So many fans were holding their breath, waiting for the worst. But nope, it was just a scare and the storm has passed. The doctors are happy with his progress, and best of all, Ronnie himself says he's feeling much stronger. Is Ronnie still recovering? Yes, but is this some kind of heartbreaking farewell? Absolutely not. Sometimes we all forget, these guys are human too. They've been at it for almost 40 years. That's longer than some fans have been alive. And honestly, isn't it amazing they're still rocking stages like it's 1995? Here's the good news. The Reboot 2 tour isn't going anywhere. No canceled dates, no dramatic statements. Just two legends keeping the music alive and giving fans a show they came for. The tour is still rolling across North America, all the way through November 2025. Can you imagine the heartbreak if they pulled the plug now? But nope, they're not the type to bow out because of one rough night. Brooks and Dunn have powered through storms way bigger than this, and this is just a pause, a breath before the next chorus hits loud and proud. Behind the scenes, they're playing it smart. They've made some thoughtful changes to help Ronnie pace himself without letting the energy drop. A few set lists have been trimmed just slightly, not enough to lose the hits, just enough to give Ronnie those needed breaks. They've added backup vocalists too, which honestly give the live sound even more power and harmony. And the stage setup? Ronnie now has a little more breathing room between high-energy songs, just enough to recharge before he dives back in. It's these small details that show how much they care, not just about the music, but about each other too. Isn't that the kind of bond we all wish we had? And here's the best part. It makes you admire them even more. Instead of covering it up or pretending everything's fine, they handled it with honesty and grace. They supported Ronnie, calmed fans, made the changes, and kept going without missing a beat. That's more than professionalism. That's hard. They're building a legacy of resilience, loyalty, and a deep love for what they do. That's the kind of thing that makes legends last forever. So if you've been stressing over the idea that Brooks and Dunn were calling it quits, take a deep breath. Ronnie is okay. He's getting stronger. The music's still playing. The boots are still stomping. And when they come back full force, it's going to hit even harder. Because one thing about Brooks and Dunn, they don't just perform, they show up. They give fans a kind of show you remember for the rest of your life. What really happened to Brooks and Dunn? One minute they were lighting up the stage, the next minute, fans were in tears over Ronnie's diagnosis, asking if it was really the end. But don't jump to conclusions just yet. The truth about what's next might just shock you in the best way, or maybe the most emotional way. You'd think after decades of touring, topping charts, and collecting awards, these two might be thinking about slowing down, right? Like buying a ranch, kicking back with guitars and cold drinks, riding off into a peaceful sunset? Well, surprise, not even close. Insiders say Brooks and Dunn are not hanging up their hats anytime soon. In fact, they just renewed their recording contract. Yes, really, while most people their age are looking at retirement plans, these two are charging full speed ahead with new music and fresh plans. Let's talk about Ronnie for a second. Because yes, his name's been trending lately and not for the reasons fans hoped. If you've heard whispers like, is Ronnie Dunn sick? Well, yes, he's been battling health issues. But here's the part that hits hardest. He's still showing up. Even when most people would call it a day, Ronnie's been powering through, doing what he loves. One close source said, Ronnie just needs to pace himself. And they're right, he's not 30 anymore. He's in his 70s, and performing night after night, that's not easy for anyone. But still, he hasn't walked away. And all those rumors about a farewell tour? Completely false. Where did they even start? Maybe it was the moment in Indianapolis. Maybe fans read too much into his slower pace. Yes, It was a wake-up call. Yes, it reminded everyone that the stage takes a toll, even on the strongest. But neither Ronnie nor Kix is ready to say goodbye. They're just being smarter about how they keep the wheels turning. Less burnout, more balance. And who could blame Ronnie for wanting to give his all while still protecting his health? His loyalty to fans is unmatched. He could easily take a long break, and people would still adore him. But he chooses to keep going, to keep singing, to keep showing up. That kind of commitment isn't just rare, it's legendary. It's not just about being on stage. It's about caring for the people who've loved you from Boot Scootin' Boogie all the way to now. More music, more shows, more memories, maybe with a slower pace, maybe with some extra support. And that's okay. Actually, it's inspiring. Because who says legends have to go out with a big farewell? Maybe they just keep going, show after show, year after year, because they love it and fans still pack the seats. So no, this isn't the end. This is the next chapter. A little wiser, a little softer, but just as powerful. And trust me, when they step back on that stage with full strength, it's going to hit like thunder. Thanks for watching. If you love this story, hit like, drop a comment, and subscribe for more powerful, emotional journeys just like this one. And don't go anywhere. Click the next video on your screen to uncover even more behind-the-scenes stories from country music's biggest legends.